Welcome back, I suppose. I am delighted to announce that today's podcast is sponsored by the local town criers service, Town Square Space. I mean, I say that I'm delighted, but as you can imagine, I'm being less than completely sincere. Town Squarespace provides an all-in-one platform that gives you everything you need to announce your announcements or proclaim your proclamations. Who writes this stuff? Town Squarespace's professional town criers are at least 30% louder than any other town criers. Whether you're just getting started or are an established brand, our powerful platform helps your business grow. I remember when it was perfectly acceptable to announce your next genocidal plan by posting it on the local notice board, but apparently no one looks at notice boards anymore, so you have to pay a man to bellow in people's faces. You people sicken me. Back to the podcast. I have let Russ, Morrissey and Peter Coffey out of the dungeon for a few hours. You're lucky you can't smell them.
Hello, and welcome to Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. My name is Morrus, aka Russ, or Russ, aka Morrus. I have my voice back, sort of, and with me is my ebullient yet evocative co-host, sometimes known as a one-man gang.
It's Peter Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Roleplayers. Russ, as ever, I am delighted, exalted to be here.
Exalted?
I know.
Strong words.
Exalted, strong words, softly spoken. Good enough for Caffrey is good enough for me.
Excellent news.
Yes?
I can almost talk again.
I know. It sounds a lot less like you're calling up to offer phone sex to random women, so that's good stuff. I approve, Russ. I approve.
The Ebola has broken. I got my first full night's sleep last night for nearly a month.
I thought you looked pink and healthy, and now we know
why.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent news about your recovery from your ill health.
Hopefully this means I can actually make my way all the way through a podcast this time.
Well, coughing, spluttering, and dying everywhere. That would be good. That'd be good. It'd be a new return to a norm as opposed to excursions.
Exactly. So anyway, while we're on the subject, or not on the subject, as it were.
Yes.
Why don't you tell me what's caught your eye in the world of RPGs this week?
What's caught my eye in the world of RPGs this week has been a random scenario generator.
Ooh.
Yes, I think we'll have to put it in the show notes because I'm not entirely sure how to say it. I think it's Isengrowl, but I couldn't tell you 100%. But essentially, it's a web-based thing. You click on it, you choose from a list of drop-down menus, and then it provides you with a set of descriptions and information. And the more you click through, it has at the end, it's got relevant nouns that it's brought out, and you can click on those to get more description about them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can you give us an example? How long are they?
They are relatively short. I will give you
Let's
one.
just put one up.
So, quick scenario generator. Your options are summer, autumn, winter, or spring. Which would you like?
Ooh, okay, let's go with winter, because it's winter now.
Yep, and places, forest, desert, mountain, road.
Forest, desert, mountain, road. Let's go with the road.
So, let's see. It's quite cold. There are a couple of clouds, but it's not quite overcast, and it's a fine day. You walk along the overgrown dirt path, dotted with hoofprints, and spy in the distance the undead.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not the undead.
I know. And that's a quick scenario generator. They also have the Hamlet of Badgercraft, which has the Hamlet of Badgercraft, which is...
Hamlet of Badgercraft?
Yes. It's, it's a whole new thing. And so you could generate things like a tavern, an alchemist, general store, blacksmith, market, temple, brothel. So if we said general store, create new building, and that gives me... Well, it did give me something. It's got factions and NPCs. What do you do there, little fella? I don't know. I haven't looked at it, but it's that much. But it generally seems to be giving you a lot of background information that sort of all hangs together quite nicely. Yeah.
Talking of random creators, I just pulled up my favourite tavern creator.
Your favourite tavern creator? Tell me more.
Here we go. I've just whipped one up. You ready for this?
Yeah.
The Cuddly Dragon Mead Hall. It's an upper-class large building with 8 waiting staff. It is owned and managed by Madeline Carter, sleeping, jewellery covered. A gambling half-elf gambler is looking suspicious. A staggeringly stupid half-orc forester is crying into a beer. A softly spoken halfling painter is laughing at a stuttering gnome scholar. A group of 6 elf bards is exchanging insults with the stuttering half-orc gladiator. The pub is part of a chain based in the town of Rochdon. You'll love our dice. Notable patrons: Catherine Bond, shipwright very sad. Albert Wilson, warrior muscular. Borin Slatesmith, gambler, gossiping. Arnar Eldali, trapper, one-armed. Thralin Silver Quarry, armourer, muscular. And 3 mobsters.
Interesting.
Rumours. A unicorn has been spotted in a nearby forest. Dengue fever has struck the town of Seaworth. Shepbury was raided by the Red Shadow Castle. And then we've got a menu. We've got a drinks menu. Happy Jake Port, which is 10 silver pieces. Burgundy opaque, smells like honey. Jolly Sir Wine, 1 silver piece. Turquoise sticky, smells like pears. A food menu including Grandma's roasted rice served with tree bark. Spicy steamed tree bark, bit of a theme there. And today's special is special potatoes and turkey broth cooked in Tricky Blade cognac.
Interesting. Was all that just generated procedurally just now?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Just one click.
Sweet. Yeah, so, like I say, it's like the idea here, I think, is much the same. You get the thing, but it's expanded to include, like, the NPCs and so forth.
Yeah.
I saw it, and a lot of people do say to me that, like, that, and I see a lot online that, like, improvising all that sort of thing is quite hard, so, I don't know, just go with it. So I can see it being very handy. Especially if you need inspiration as well, if you find yourself being a bit samey sort of thing. Anyway,
Cool.
So, another thing that caught my eye, I suppose, was there was
2 things?
I know, 2 things. Maybe I should save one. Another thing I saw that also caught my eye was the latest editions of the Player's Handbook with the, like, really nice covers. Mm-hmm. Well, there was an issue that someone had where they'd got it, but it was, like, bound the wrong way up, so all the text was was upside down compared to the covers. Yeah,
That sounds amazing. I want one.
well, here's the thing. They didn't want one because, I don't know, they lack appreciation of such quirky found artifacts of beauty. Sent it back to Wizards, who replied saying, "We're very sorry, please accept our new one," and sent him one which had the exact same problem. It's like, oh! It's like,
So it looks like there was a batch somewhere with...
there was a batch which, unfortunately, they didn't check before sending out, so it's like...
sounds like an expensive problem.
It does sound like an expensive problem, and it's not like the first time that they're... I mean, can they just not find decent printers, do you think? I mean, what's the deal?
Well, it happens sometimes.
It does,
Yeah.
Problems with publishing happen. No, not really. Anyway, Russ, tell me, what's caught your newly plague-free eye?
Not plague-free. It's like less plaguey, but not plague-free yet.
Oh, okay. So, like, when you're skirting blood from your eyes, it only goes like 4 or 5 mil instead of 4 or 5 inches. Right.
Something like that, yeah. So what caught my eye?
Yes.
So, renowned artist, Tony Ditolisi. I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce his name, on account of the fact that I'm not 100% sure on how you pronounce anybody's name, but Tony Ditolisi is, an iconic Planescape artist. And he was talking about 25 years of Planescape. 25 years ago that setting came out. Wow. And he shared a whole bunch of his sort of original sketches and concept pieces.
Nice.
He did all this on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I compiled some of them into a little article with, like, click-throughs to see more of them. But it's really, really brings back proper memories for me, all this art. I haven't looked at Planescape in years, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a bit of a thing, actually, because someone in my club was proposing to run something along similar lines.
Yeah.
I thought this was an excellent opportunity to actually play Planescape Torment, because people talked to me about it, but I never actually played it.
I think is there an updated version of that now?
Yeah. This is the enhanced edition.
Yeah,
So
because the
it's-
original, I think, would be unplayable graphically these days.
It did have the option of playing. It has the original. It was mostly, I can't remember the exact words, but it was basically make it uglier, slower, and less readable. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'll take the enhanced edition if that's okay.
Yeah. Time has moved on.
Yeah, like I vaguely recall seeing people do things with it, but I never. It never appealed. Like I was more of a Half-Life man. What can I say?
Have you ever played in the Planescape setting? Played D&D in it?
Not yet. That is why.
If you get the opportunity to, I think you should.
Well,
It's a great setting, and you got this city where like gods and demons and things are all just like wandering around, and
well, this is my
all ruled by the Lady of Pain.
whose name has come up. She sounds a bit Ronseal to me.
She sounds lovely.
Yeah, she's a lady. She'll cause you pain. It's like try not to knock her off.
Yeah.
Right. So okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what's caught my eye. A whole bunch of original Planescape sketches and concept pieces posted by the original author.
Yes. Are those on Ian World or?
They are, and then you can click through to the actual tweets from there.
Marvellous. I shall probably do that and have a look at them because they do sound exactly my cup of tea. I do enjoy a good bit of RPG art. Anyway, so Russ, let's talk news.
News?
What's in the news this week?
News?
Yeah, news, Russ.
News? All right, let's do some news.
We should do some news, it being a news podcast, I feel.
First thing in the news this week.
Yes.
Mr. Robert Schwalb, veteran game designer.
Shadow of the Demon Lord, if I recall, or am I just wrong? Yeah, nice.
D&D 5th edition. He's worked on Warhammer. He's worked on tons and tons of stuff. He contributed to Judge Dredd and the Worlds of 2000 AD, which is, his most stellar achievement so far, I'm sure. Yeah.
Leave the best to last, obviously. Yeah.
Anyway, he has released his own version of the Warlord class for D&D 5th edition.
For D&D 5th edition. So Warlord, if I recall, didn't play a lot of it. Didn't find it objectionable, as many people did, but whatever. It was 4th edition?
Originally, I think it's got a history going back further than that, but I think that was the first time it came into fruition as a full-fledged class. Was the Warlord in 4th edition. So this is a 5th edition version of that.
Yeah.
So it's a 10-page PDF. It's a charisma-based class, as you might expect for a Warlord. D10 hit dice. It's got abilities like Commanding Presence, which gives nearby allies damage bonus.
Right.
Battlefield Command. It's got a whole bunch of subclasses along with it, like the Resourceful Leader and the Horde Master.
Right. Okay, so it's a whole proper new class with subclasses.
Yeah, fully done.
Yeah, okay. I will have to have a look at that. Oh, that's on Drive Through RPG, is it?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, exciting times, yeah. And certainly, if our listeners have any particular comments to make about that, please do feel to join us on the Discord and let us know. I would be delighted to hear from you.
Very delighted.
Super delighted.
How delighted would you say?
Oh, on a scale of 1 to be on this podcast, I'd have to say at least 0.9 millirusses. That's pretty good. Yeah, we're talking like exalted ecstasies, paeans of joy. Heavenly hosts are singing. Hallelujah. That sort of level of excited.
Fair enough. Okay, next in the news.
Moving
swiftly on. Acquisitions Incorporated. Penny Arcade's D&D game. That has been a podcast. It's been great big live shows which sell out massive theatres. It's a big deal.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah. So it started over a decade ago during the 4th edition era of D&D as a podcast featuring Christopher Perkins from Wizards of the Coast and various sort of members and friends of Penny Arcade. So it's kind of like, it's like Critical Role in a way. Well, very much like Critical Role. Also in scale as well. It's massive.
Yeah.
So Penny Arcade is responsible for those big PAX video game conventions.
Yes.
And the more recent PAX Unplugged and stuff like that. In fact, PAX South just happened this last weekend, I think.
Wow. That's, major conventions. So, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's not news. That's all old news. But this bit is news.
The context, Russ. It's all about context.
So the news is that they have teamed up with Wizards of the Coast to produce D&D licensed official Acquisitions Incorporated D&D sourcebook, which they're calling the Acquisitions Incorporated Dungeon Manual.
That's what it says on the tin.
So there's actually very little information about what you'll find in it as of yet. But they did say originally they were going to do this on Kickstarter. And Wizards of the Coast got wind of what they were doing and contacted them and said, hey, how about instead of Kickstarter,
we just print
you worked with us on it? So now instead of being done on Kickstarter, it's they're working with Wizards of the Coast to bring this out. I don't know whether that means it's going to be one of Wizards' 4 books next year or whether it's separate to those. Don't know how it fits into that release schedule. This year, sorry, not next year. It's now 2019, isn't it?
Yes, welcome to the future, Russ.
Yes, January happened and everything. Yeah. So yeah, it was actually announced at PAX South, and Jerry Holkins of Penny Arcade, he describes it as a cool book in general, full of cool art, strange characters, weird goings-on that demand to be inserted into home campaigns. It's much more focused on personalities and the mysteries of the organisation. We do feature a number of strange new items that go along with your role in the company, although I probably shouldn't say much more than that. And true to his word, he hasn't said much more than that. So we don't really know exactly what's going to be in this book, but...
Yeah. Okay, so that'll be very exciting news for the fans who want to find out more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do some more news?
Oh, if we must. I think we should.
What's your feeling on Borg Cubes?
I would be startled if one appeared, and I would want to try and throw some Federation mad science at it ASAP. Why'd you ask? Do you have a Borg Cube?
I do not have a Borg Cube. I don't think I can afford this Borg Cube, but Modiphius have a new version of their Borg Cube Deluxe Edition of the Star Trek Adventures RPG. So it's a big old sturdy cardboard cube box containing tons and tons and tons of stuff. The original Borg Cube was priced at $500.
Okay, sorry. No,
this one's about half that, $257.99. It doesn't
such a bargain.
It doesn't have the miniatures that the previous one had.
Oh, okay, right. So, wow.
So what you get this sturdy cardboard Borg Cube box, and then it has a bunch of drawers in it, which contain a poster map of the alpha and beta quadrants.
Right.
3 sets of custom dice, a bunch of tokens, a GM screen, 5 different rules reference cards, and a copy of the limited edition cover core rulebook.
Oh, good. So it's got the core rulebook in and everything.
I mean, it's a very, very pretty looking box set. I'd love to have it. It's just, it's too expensive for me.
No miniatures, you said?
Not in this one, no.
No, that was in the previous $500 one.
Yes.
Right. Wow, that's $250. I'm sure it's a very nice box.
Well, it's coming out in March, this one.
Oh, fantastic. Just in time for my birthday. I'll have to let my wife know.
Well, if you are a Star Trek fan, I mean, I don't know, and you've got some money to burn, I think that's a good choice. Yeah. If you can afford it.
That is an impressive level of fandom, yeah.
Yeah, a bit too rich for my blood. So I love these. I do love these deluxe products like this and Invisible Sun and that Beadle and Grimm's Waterdeep thing.
It does sound very similar to the Invisible Sun thing because I've actually seen a copy of that and it does sound like very similar. So
yeah,
you sort of have these almost objects that are just kicking around but I don't know. Would you ever actually get to play with them? That's the question.
Well, I would hope so for that money. I think I'd insist on it.
But Russ, we're playing Pathfinder. We're playing
No.
Star Trek now.
We are getting $500 worth of value out of this game. Oh dear. Moving on, we'll stick in galaxies. This one far, far away.
Yes,
A long time ago. Star Wars. Fantasy Flight Games has announced a book called Allies and Adversaries.
For Star Wars.
For Star Wars. I think you can probably guess exactly what that is.
I'm hoping it's got some sort of Imperial versus Rebellion and then general associated bounty hunters, mercenaries, and rogue smugglers with access to really fast ships.
It's got over 130 Star Wars NPCs.
That's a lot of NPCs.
Including Emperor Palpatine, Boba Fett, Jyn Erso, Wicket, and so on.
Right. So it's covering quite a lot of various characters, alive and dead. So
Yeah, it also says it goes beyond stat blocks and you get full backgrounds, motivations, tips, and all sorts of stuff.
Do they have lots of really nice pictures inside?
I would be amazed if it did not.
No, I think that could be a very nice coffee table style book, and also an excellent resource for running Star Wars games if you want to play around in that. Excellent stuff. Very exciting.
Well, that's coming out second quarter of this year, and it's going to be $39.95.
Okay, so April to June time, somewhere in that window.
Yeah.
Quite a decent price. Yeah. What else? What else is happening, Russ?
What, you want more news?
Something that caught my eye on your website was the Crazed Gamers celebrating 40 years at Gen Con.
Oh yeah, I was just looking at that. Go on.
Yeah, the National Association of Crazed Gamers, which, if I may say, is an excellent name. If someone's calling themselves National Association of Crazed Gamers, I'm pretty confident they will be giving me a certain vibe and flavour, and
we've talked about them before on the podcast, actually.
Yes, but it's different when you have the pictures there. But they're just out to prove that competitive D&D is a thing.
Yeah.
And it seems they've got a lot of stuff going on, like the awards for role playing and the exhibiting the character and role playing and so forth.
I mean they've been around since the 1970s.
Yeah. So it is impressive. Maybe not my particular cup of tea, but they seem really happy and enthusiastic. So fair play to them. That's what I say.
Excellent. Absolutely.
Right.
So Peter.
Yes, Russ.
How would you like to play our favourite game in all the world?
Our favourite game in all the world? In which case I'd like to be the top hat.
Oh my god. You just actually brought up the worst game ever designed by anyone in the history of ever. I hate that game so much.
What, you're saying we're not here to play Monopoly? I'm so confused.
Instead of Monopoly, how about we play the game where I tell you the name of a Kickstarter and you try and guess what it is from just the name?
Oh, yes, I suppose we could play that as well. That is also quite fun.
Yes. Oh, dear.
Yes. So.
Are you ready?
I may need another couple of minutes for maniacal giggling at my own joke. To be fair, it's not really my joke. It's more the look in your face that got me going. What can I say?
What can you say?
What can I say? I can say that if I'd opened up the dictionary to unimpressed, your picture would have spontaneously appeared beside it. Yeah, yes. So yes, let's play this game. Woohoo!
All right then. Yeah. I will give you the name of a Kickstarter. You will guess what it is from just that name, and then I will give you a highly scientific and accurate score based on your answer.
Have you fixed that board destroying malfunction? Because the doctor was super cheesed off last time.
That is not a bug.
She was not a happy lady.
No, it's not a bug. It's a feature.
I mean, there's feature creep and there's feature, I don't know, whatever that was, that destroys the known universe. Mm-hmm. Could you not, Russ? Could you not?
Well, perhaps if you could just try and get these things right, it won't happen.
Oh, I see. You're basically saying, if I'm better, then the world will be fine.
Yeah, so it's your fault.
No pressure there, then.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Yeah.
All right, then. Number one.
Oh, no.
What is? I quite like the look of this one. You like atmospheric ones, don't you?
I like ones played in an atmosphere.
Haha.
Sorry.
One is Secretum Mundi, the Book of the Secret World.
Ah, you read out the stuff after the colon. That's depriving me of being able to give my best COD Latin translation.
Oh dear. Well, what would you have said?
Well, if you just said Secretum Mundi, I'd have said it's like the secret of the world.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so what is it?
Kickstarter.
It'll be a long podcast today.
Okay, so Secretum Mundi. It will be. We've got Latin influence that they're going for, so I'm hoping for an Illuminati feel. It's using Mundi to imply the world, so we're getting for some sort of like global nature of said conspiracy. So a sort of game of conspiracy theory dealing with the world the way it is. So something. It's not. I can't quite put my finger on the name of the genre because it's not urban fantasy or modern supernatural romance because those refer to very different things. But it's sort of like going to be a modern or perhaps near modern sort of spy thriller, and you will get to play as agents dealing with like the various secrets behind how the world is put together. That's what I'd be hoping for if I picked up a book with that title. What do you actually get?
You don't get that.
Ah, okay.
No.
So
what you get...
my world is filled with disappointment. Please delight me with what I get instead.
So, Secretum Mundi, or
Yes.
Mundi either, is a system-neutral encyclopedia-style supplement with entries alphabetically on occult individuals, places, events, and items, accompanied by plot hooks that can be used to create adventures.
System neutral, and is it a sort of Monday sort of jazz, or
A what, sorry?
is it basically our world?
Modern, yes. Modern occult role-playing games.
But that's sort of,
Yeah,
low,
it's got 70 pages, 6 inches by 9, so that's kind of, what, digest-sized?
right, okay. So a smaller book. And it's about, so you're saying it's about occult secrets and paranormal things. So like, does it give any examples or?
So we've got the Blackened Brotherhood, a soul jar as a magical item, obviously. Alabaster Venus, a statue of Venus carved from alabaster from the mid-Republican Roman period. The Alabaster Venus is enigmatic and otherworldly. What on the surface appears to be a simple statue of a naked female, thought to be Venus, becomes increasingly complex the more it is studied. The limbs of the woman seem unnaturally long, and some of the contours of the body seem strangely out of place. Bizarrely, rather than resulting in a statue that looks amateur or crude, these strange physical changes give the overall composition a disturbing appearance. This is reinforced by studies by art historians, who comment that the quality of the carving and the naturalness of the composition make it appear that the statue was carved by a master, and the figure represents the true appearance of the master's muse. Whatever the truth of the matter, the Venus is no longer displayed by the Smithsonian. The composition is unsettling and depressing, and tends to cast a pall over those who view it. The Blackened Brotherhood have stated that the statue is really a depiction of the goddess Cormorgan, the Celtic goddess of love and death.
Interesting. Not ringing any bells with me in particular, so
It's not real,
like
it's fictional. They made them all up themselves. It's not like stuff taken from...
So this is coming up with, I suppose, new and original plot hooks that you can use where players can't metagame by knowing about how it works before. So yeah, okay. A source of inspiration for GMs everywhere. Good stuff.
I think you got 3 out of 10 for that. I think that's a fair score.
Okay. The aim is to get as close to 0 as possible, right? No? Have I been playing this wrong?
That may be your aim.
Okay. Go on. What's the next one, Russ?
So the next one, I'm not going to do this one. I'm just going to give you the title. Because I know you love titles which explain exactly what they are. This is one of those that there's just no point putting it in this game because it's so... Are you ready?
I was born ready. Come on. Delight me.
100 maps of fantasy islands.
Brilliant. It's like, oh, I really like that. It's like, if I want a map of a fantasy island, I'm like, perfect. There's 100 of the buggers. I'm sure I can find something here.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Far too easy for this game, though.
An example of brilliant Kickstarter naming. Like,
Okay.
I don't know.
This is slightly more difficult.
When does this Kickstarter end? Because I need to know how to get more fantasy maps in my life.
Wednesday, January the 30th.
Fantastic. Right. Well, 100 fantasy islands. Or 100 maps of fantasy islands. Get on that. That's going to be big. That's going to be amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Right. After that storming success where I've doubtless scored a whole 4 out of 10, can we move on?
You don't get a score for that one because it was too obvious.
Oh, okay.
In order to get a score for that one, you'd have to describe every single map.
I understand. Well, potentially at some point, say if a podcast should fall on my birthday, we can reverse who's playing our favourite game in all the world, and maybe I can find someone to ask you. How about
that? Or maybe not.
I don't think so. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, the next one.
Yes.
Iron Monolith and the Tomb of Sun Agala. Sun Agala is spelled S-U-N, new word, A, apostrophe, G-A-L-L-A.
Sunagala. So what's this? The Iron Monolith and the Tomb of Sunagala?
Iron Monolith.
Oh, Iron Monolith.
Yes, iron.
Ooh, Iron Monolith does sound a lot more interesting. Like, sort of like the Iron Pillar in Delhi and so forth, which was quite interesting to read about. Okay, Iron Monolith and the Tomb of Sunagala. It sounds to me like it will be a module for some sort of fantasy game. It's using fantasy trope naming rather than anything real world, as far as I can tell. So I'm looking to speculate. But I suspect maybe this is for 5th Ed. How am I doing?
It is a sci-fi adventure.
Fantastic.
You have been employed by Osseous System renowned pilot Fink and his android engineer Nox to bring in an outlaw taxidermist.
An outlaw taxidermist?
Yes.
Stuffing animals without a license.
Yeah.
Stuffing dead animals without a license. Horrifying.
Well, it doesn't say they're dead.
Maybe that's why he's outlawed.
Yes, yeah. Things don't go exactly to plan as you find yourself in the midst of an intergalactic treasure hunt for the 3 tombs of Sun Agala. You will engage in starship battle, work out puzzles, and navigate your way through dangerous terrain and mazes, fighting outlaws, space desert worms, and engaging in diplomatic converse.
Interesting. So, do you also find where Carmen Santiago is as well, or is she still lost in time and space? No. Was this? Okay, well, it's not.
I'm not 100% sure whether this is an adventure, a campaign setting, or a role-playing game itself, because it says all 3 of those here. So
it might well be all 3 of those.
But it is compatible with Starfinder, D&D, Pathfinder, and any space-based RPG.
So any space-based RPG,
ambitious,
and high fantasy. So obviously they'll have nailed Traveller naturally. If I break out Polaris, they'll be all over that. If I want to rock and roll it with, say, I don't know, Star Wars, they're completely compatible with the Genesis system. No, I'm pleased. It's a broad church to cover. Hulks and Horrors is my favourite OSR one at the moment, so that will be...
I suspect you might be disappointed if you go in expecting it to be fully compatible with any space-based RPG.
No. If I take Erebalem, which is a game of space fighter pilots, and play this game, I'm expecting compatibility. And as you say, I will be sorely disappointed if it's not. I don't think you should be so negative and doubt them. Take them at their word, Dress. Any space-based RPG.
Oh yeah, it's right in the title there, look. Yeah. Okay, well...
It's a source book and a setting and a system as well.
A role-playing game based on the D20 dice system, compatible with Starfinder, D&D and Pathfinder, or any space-based RPG, is the phrasing they use.
Broad claims.
Ambitious.
But I won't believe them. Ambitious, yes. But if you don't reach for the sun, then you'll never catch fire and fall into the sea. Wait, no, I'm sure that's not right. I must have got that.
Right, next one. Oh, for that you get, what did you say? You said it was a fantasy adventure, and it turns out it's a sci-fi RPG, compatible with any space-based RPG. So definitely you get 0 out of 10 for that.
It's a strong choice.
Right then, the next one. The next one is called Off the Beaten Path.
That sounds like, maybe it's just me hoping for stuff, but a sort of a modern day, almost fairy tale-like game of exploration where you're just like wandering along one day and you say, oh, that looks like a shortcut. And by just merest happenstance, you wander off the beaten path and into like a magical world full of bizarre happenings, which you then attempt to navigate as best you may.
This one's slightly trickier because it does have a slight bit more to the title, which does give it away completely, but without that bit of information, you are, I think, probably lacking some fundamental information about it. So it's mildly unfair, this one. So I'll tell you what the full title is.
Fair? No, surely not.
But once I do, I think you'll know what it is. So, Off the Beaten Path Mountain Excursions.
Okay, so
It totally changes your sort of view on what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's not a bad thing. Knowing what you're looking at is not a bad thing for us. I hope after, like...
For this game, it's a terrible thing.
On this game, it's a terrible thing. Mostly for you.
Yeah.
Less so on this side of the table, I will say. So this sounds to me, I'm hoping, off the beaten path, mountain excursions, it will be a sort of an source book all about exploration and coming up with lots of ways to create encounters for travelling in the mountains.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be hoping for. What do I get?
5 out of 10.
Okay, so I'm about half right. What is it?
The bit you got right was the mountains.
Yay.
The bit that's in the title. So it's a collection of mini sort of side quests, standalone mini adventures, set within cold mountain passes and snowy locales.
So
each
that would be the encounters and the exploration. Yeah.
So it's like single or double page mountain excursions. There's just a book full of those.
Okay, and when's that Kickstarter?
That ends on Friday, January the 18th, so last Friday.
Timely. Love it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay.
Never mind then.
And it's for Swords and Wizardry.
Okay, which is a sort of OSR style thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, after disabling the deadly trap and picking the lock, you enter the inner sanctum of Malak the Maleficent.
Getting goosebumps.
It's a large room decorated with ominous arcane markings. On the wall is a diagram of a giant rat colossus, illuminated by flickering candles. There's a wool rug on the floor, and on the large obsidian altar is a giant book covered in glowing sigils and glyphs.
Wow. Okay. What colour is the rug?
What?
The rug. What colour is it?
It's red. The runes on the giant book on the altar start pulsating, and it seems like the light dims in this eerie chamber.
Does it have any kind of pattern on it?
What, the book? Yes, it has sigils and glyphs.
No. The rug. Does the rug have any patterns on it?
Well, no, it's just a plain red rug. Anyway, you catch a glimpse of the cover of the book. It reads, Malak's Magnificent Plans.
Okay, I'm going to approach it cautiously.
The book.
No, the rug. I stand about 10 feet away. I get my 10-foot wooden pole and both hands reach up very carefully and poke it. What does it do?
Well, nothing. It's a rug. There's something ominous about the way the candlelight doesn't quite seem to reach the book, as though some maleficent presence were pushing back against the glow.
Okay, I'm going to step forward cautiously and put 1 foot on the rug. Anything?
No, it's a friggin' rug. It feels soft.
Would you say this is a new rug Or is it threadbare and worn?
It's just average age. Look, you notice on the altar by the book there's several large gemstones. They must be worth thousands. They glitter invitingly in the candlelight.
What did you mean by that?
By what?
Average age. What's average age for a rug?
I don't know. It's just a rug. It's 25 years old. Anyway, can we get back to the book now?
25 years old, eh? But still soft. Something is awry. I'm going to cast Detect Magic on the rug.
Oh, for goodness sake. Okay. The rug jumps up and attacks you. It was a cleverly disguised Umberhulk. Happy now?
Ha! Knew it.
I just got an email from the printers
Yes.
with photographs of my brand new Just Dread GM screen. Oh, wow. They look amazing.
Oh, I'm pleased that the printing is coming along nicely.
Yes. All that is now in hand. Thank goodness.
Yes. So, very exciting news about the Judge Dredd screens. They look really amazing.
Oh, you see them there. They look good, don't they?
Oh, yeah, they look amazing. What I've done is I have copied and I've shared that over to Morris's podcast.
Cool.
So our listeners will be able to see the full glory of Judge Dredd on his Lawmaster, whilst at the same time being able to see the amazingness that is the cunning player judge sentencing. Yeah. Katie called them.
They do look good, though, don't they? They do look good.
They will be able to see the full glory that is the player judge sentencing guidelines, which are on the player facing side of this GM screen, which is actually an amazing way to segue into our topic of the week this week.
Fantastic, yes. So what, Peter, is our topic of the week?
Our topic is the much underloved but so important design of character sheets.
Character sheets. I do love a character sheet. In fact, I got to say that a character sheet is one of the things I look at first.
Yeah.
Basically, a new game, I look at the cover of the book first, probably the character sheet second.
Yeah, absolutely. They are vital to a game. They're vital to running the game because as a GM, you've got like your books, you've got your player's handbooks, your like DM's guide, you've got your monster manuals, you've got like a whole paraphernalia, many different things. You've got the back of the GM screen to look at if you are to roll with having a GM screen, which I know you're not one to do. But for players, this is 99% of what they'll be looking at for their entire career.
It's your user interface into the game, basically, isn't it?
It is your user interface. I know I keep on banging on about this and keep on talking about it, but it's just like I see a lot of role-playing game systems. I see a lot of terribly designed character sheets. I see a lot that are very pretty.
I am a sucker for a pretty character sheet, though. If a character is very pretty, I will forgive it a number of sins, because I really do like a pretty character sheet. Have you seen like the Numenera ones, for example, with that circular design? Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh,
stunning.
You know what? I think I have. Yes. And stunning, quite tricky to read. I expected something that you would grow accustomed to.
It's quite busy, but it's gorgeous, utterly gorgeous.
Absolutely, and this is an important part of the aesthetics. It's like, the components of a game, not just role-playing games, but any game, should be a pleasure to interact with.
Absolutely.
Well, but it's like more of a general principle, which is the thing that as a game creator you need to think about is this is what 5/6 of your player base, counting the DM, are going to be interacting with. This bit of paper. Like, they may well start picking up the rulebooks the more they get into it, but their first introduction is going to be with this bit of paper. And if they don't understand how to run your game, or, like, they don't know what the most common things that are going to come up in the game are from your character sheet, then you have an issue, my friend. You have an issue. So, like, and there are very few places that do it. Like, the Savage Worlds character sheet, I basically have never found one that I really liked, because all the information is, like, scrolled away, or it's, like, or information that you just don't use. I mean, the classic example, I suppose we could say, is Dungeons and Dragons, because the ability scores and the actual number you need to add to the dice are not the same thing. They are related, absolutely. And after you spent some time doing it...
What's interesting is you're supposed to... I do this wrong, apparently. So, you've got, like, the main bit and then the bit sort of like hanging off it. And one of them you put the ability score in, and one of them you put the modifier in.
Yeah, big number goes in the little box. Modifier goes in the big box, yeah.
Yeah, I always did it the other way around.
That's fair. I mean...
It makes more sense to put the modifier in the bigger box, but I just wasn't doing it. Because it's the number you use.
Yeah, the number you use should be big and eye-catching. And, yeah, I mean, after the first... I mean, it only took me 30 or 40 character sheets, like, in a short space of time to say, hey, wait a minute, maybe I should make this easier for the new players, and they shouldn't be trying to add 15 to the roll. Because I noticed it. It's like, because I teach a lot of new people how to roleplay. So, 13th Age, to move away from Dungeons and Dragons, and 13th Age, similar, it's like an offshoot of D&D, but it's got the same thing where you've got the stats across the top, then underneath that you have the ability modifiers, works in exactly the same way. They have a third thing for level, and then they have a line underneath. And you are supposed to know that you add the level and the ability modifier and put it underneath. But it looks, I realised this after the fourth consecutive person had done it, it looks like you're supposed to sum up all of those three numbers. So 18 plus 4 plus 1 is obviously 23, as opposed to plus 5.
Right.
And when people say to me, oh, I've got 23, I'm like, interesting. Yeah. That's impressive for a level 1 character.
Just browsing through some character sheets here, because I've got like this, I've got on Ian World, in the downloads section, there's this character sheets area. There's 672 different character sheets there, having been downloaded 3.5 million times. That's
there's a lot of different ways to address problems. So the fact that, there's quite so many character sheets implies that people are having different problems. They're all attempting to resolve them in different ways.
Putting up some of the really early AD&D first edition character sheets by TSR. Character sheets back then were less ornate than some are these days. They look a bit more, spreadsheet-like. That's maybe not quite the right term, but
what you're looking for is to have it be as intuitive as possible, surely. I mean, and there are common, I would say, mistakes in presentation. If it's hard to read and unintuitive, then people will discard it. And that's something that many people are aware of and invested in.
What would you say is your favourite character sheet, then? An example of a really good one.
Yeah, White Wolf, like the World of Darkness character sheets. I found those, like the older versions, they had how you put the numbers in. They had those
the ones
on the
with the
character
pips
sheets.
that you filled in.
Yeah.
I very much like that idea. I find that very intuitive.
Yes, it's like it avoids issues with like trying to work out numbers. If you have a lot of numbers to put on your character sheet and then you have to derive things from them, it's not very clear how you do that. That's, in my opinion, like a barrier to accessibility. Yeah. It's a barrier to learning.
I'm looking at a character sheet right now, which is done in a map style. So D&D 5th edition.
Oh, okay, so it looks like a little map I'm seeing there.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure it's the best character sheet in the world, but what I was trying to bring it up was as an example of an artistic one, and how I appreciate artistic character sheets, and I'm willing to forgive a number of other sins if the character sheet looks pretty cool and artistic, like this one does. So this one looks like an old school D&D map. Yeah,
that is pretty sweet.
Various boxes look like dungeon rooms, and they're linked by little, tunnels and stuff like that. And I love the sort of whimsy and the sort of the effort people put into making these sorts of things.
Absolutely. I think it is really, really quite beautiful. The problem is, it's like, where do you look on this sheet to find stuff out? I mean, because there are some things that you will ask for again and again and again and again.
You shouldn't have to learn how to use the character sheet. It should be easy and obvious.
Like, if I said roll initiative, then, you're going to have a fairly good idea that it's going to be something dex-based. But for people who've never played role-playing games before, which is more and more of the role-playing population, then that's not an obvious thing to do. And the reason board games, in my opinion, are doing really, really well is because they're easy to get into. You can understand stuff. They make themselves as easy to understand as possible because they're in bitter tooth and nail competition with every other board game out there. So if you don't understand what they're trying to tell you, you will give up and you'll go and play a different game instead. Like, in my games, I use a lot of theatre of the mind. Movement very rarely comes up, but it's right at the top of a character sheet. If they want to roll to hit, how do you derive these numbers? It doesn't say there. Like, the guidelines that they give you on the World of Darkness stuff, like with your little dots, because people can count dots, look friendly, and each dot corresponds to a dice. You know where you are. You're like, okay, well, I've got 3 dots there, 5 dots there, 8 dice. Yeah, bam, done. And what you need almost is like one of those little how do you play the game cards. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're learning a new system, you want like a little credit card size thing that says, if they're asking for this sort of roll, this is the sort of roll you need to make.
Hello, your editor Daryl here. I just wanted to tie in what Peter's saying to an earlier story because, in fact, the rules cards mentioned in the Star Trek Borg Cube are exactly what Peter's talking about. They're cards for players with important rules, so it's easier for players to reference during the game. So there are some game companies who are looking into this.
There's one thing I think is quite important about a character sheet, is that it needs to convey the right mood for the game that you're playing.
Absolutely. So that's really important.
So like for a sci-fi game, you want a sci-fi looking character sheet. For a superhero game, you want a sort of comic book looking character sheet. For a fantasy game, you want a kind of fantasy looking character sheet. For a horror game, you put one that at least attempts to evoke some kind of, macabre sense in you.
Oh, absolutely. I've actually played the game wrong because the character sheet did not...
Gave you the wrong vibe.
Well, yeah, basically. It's like there was a whole bunch of us who were all doing it wrong. It was at a convention and we rocked up and there was like a game of Best Friends on offer. And in Best Friends, it's supposed to be a really backstabby game. But we didn't know this. We were the Scooby Gang.
Yeah.
And the character sheet has, presumably ironically, got lots of pictures of people giving each other hearts and being nice to each other.
There's an element of the GM should have told you that.
The GM might have assumed that people who had signed up to play a game of Best Friends knew what the hell they were doing. And that, my friend, is a cardinal mistake.
A convention, without a doubt, yes. So always make sure you provide the basic information at the top of the game.
I can tell you, right, it's a mistake that happens quite a bit.
No, I can imagine it probably does, yeah.
Club setting, yeah. And just from the information we had, we were like, oh, well, we'll help you out. I'll do this and it will help you out. And it was a really positive experience. But I'm looking at the GM and confusion.
See, there's other ways you can go as well. If you look at some of Fantasy Flight Games stuff, and I'm thinking back to Warhammer, was it 3?
The second edition. Was it third edition?
I think theirs was third. I'm not sure which one it was, but anyway.
It's the one you love with all the great dice, with all the...
But it's not just the dice, it's the ridiculous number of cards. So you've got cards and tokens and all sorts of stuff all spread out in front of you. So much of it, you're taking up half the table each. Especially when you've got a group of 6 players, each taking up half the table. That becomes problematic.
That sounds like you need at least 4 tables, because the GM will presumably need their own.
You've got all sorts of cards and tokens and bits and pieces. Like, it's not just like a single character sheet. So that's like the opposite problem. That they've gone so far into like crafting and engineering. They made it into Fantasy Flight Games are well known for their very highly, highly engineered, very well produced board games and stuff. And they bring those.
We're not saying that they own stock in a cardboard factory, but if I was to learn this, I wouldn't be surprised. Let's say that.
But they bring those sensibilities to their role playing games as well. And while they look gorgeous, I personally find that they're far too cluttered with too much stuff. I definitely like a single sheet character sheet.
Yes, it's just you've always got this incredible tension between trying to get as much information that's relevant to the players over to them, whilst at the same time not filling it with spraff and general things that are no good. What if you need to make some notes on it? Like you got no place to do it. And the box of current HP is teeny tiny.
Well, that's definitely a thing that I've noticed in character sheets, that you've got to get the right boxes, the right sizes. And the boxes are going to have a lot of things tracked, like hit points or health or whatever. Definitely needs to be a larger box.
Oh my god!
And many times you see that mistake being made on character sheets. I mean, there's other options. I mean, you can use. I've got a friend who doesn't use character sheets at all most of the time.
Nice. That's a good way to go.
A sheet of A4 paper, writes everything down, and he's perfectly fine with that because he put it all there. He knows exactly where anything is. So he's about as familiar with the character sheet as you can possibly be, because it's one he just constructed out of his own head just now. And that's not a bad idea, because you do get to know it very well by actually creating it. Doesn't look as pretty, but You know what you're looking at.
There are advantages to having standardised character sheets.
It does mean no one else can look at your character sheet and understand what the hell's going on.
This is a problem, and if you don't understand what's going on, but you think you do, that could also be a problem.
But the other option, of course, is electronic character sheets, or apps, or various programs and stuff like that. And there's loads and loads and loads of them around.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I guess it depends upon how comfortable you are with having tablets and phones and laptops at the table.
Yeah, that's a different conversation entirely. But I do find some apps can be quite useful.
Well, I mean, we're talking about character sheets, and electronic character sheets, like it or not, are definitely here to say electronic dice rollers. Are these things that we should be okay with? I mean, some people have disabilities.
If you're playing Shadowrun, electronic dice rollers are a godsend. 72d6! Right, I exaggerate, but sometimes an electronic dice roller really is a big help with that game. So did you say you'd made a few characters?
Yes, I have. You would hate them.
Why?
Because they're ugly.
Okay.
I'll put my hands up. They are ugly, but you know what? They're quite efficient.
Have you thought about paying a layout person just to quickly fancy them up a little bit?
I'm actually talking to layout people more, but I was basically making character sheets for people who had never played before, who had done lots of board games and like that. So I had to, for the first 4 or 5 levels of their characters in like this long running campaign, I was basically making sure that all their information was on their sheets, so at least they had some idea what the characters were doing. And then after that, I just was like, look, we've been playing for a bunch of levels now. It's on you. You work it out. Here's fit, transfer it across, right on there, and off you go. But by that stage, they'd done 30, 40, way more than that hours of D&D, which was what I was doing. They could work it out. For other things, I've done like a Savage Worlds character sheets to try and get it to do what I want, and just trying to get things so that they're in the right sort of place. And yeah, because I'm always trying to introduce new people to role-playing games because, I just really love them and want everyone to play.
So, I think that's probably it for the day, Peter.
Yeah, sure is.
Did you enjoy yourself today?
As always, Russ, I enjoyed myself.
Is this the best podcast you've recorded all day?
Oh, by far. It's like my number 1, 2, and 3 for top podcasts that I've recorded.
Is it also the worst podcast you've recorded all day?
I refuse to acknowledge any such concept.
Okay. Well, I think it's time to sign off. So I'd like to thank everybody for listening, as always.
Yes. If you've been affected by anything in this podcast, please reach out to us at morruspodcast@gmail.com or join us on our Discord channel. Yeah, we'll whack a
link in the show notes.
Yes, that's it. A hyperlink.
Yes. The magic of the internet.
Yay, go out internet.
Right. Well, anyway, everybody, thank you so much for listening. This is goodbye from me, Russ.
And it's goodbye from me, Peter.
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Listening to that drivel just made me feel nauseous. Maybe a spot of eyeball raking will make me feel a bit better. But which one shall I torture? I do enjoy Russ's screams, but Peter makes these wonderful gurgling noises when he's in pain. Decisions.